From builder to betrayed, understanding Gaddafi's fall in Libya. Welcome back to the New World Playbook. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Your support helps us keep diving deep into the moments and figures that shaped our world. Today, we're looking at a story that is both fascinating and tragic, a story of power, progress, betrayal, and collapse. We're talking about Muammar Gaddafi, a man who ruled Libya for more than 4 decades. To some, he was the builder of modern Libya. To others, he was a dictator who overstayed his welcome. Our journey today is called From Builder to Betrayed, Understanding Gaddafi's Fall in Libya. Let's rewind the clock to 1969. Libya back then was not the Libya most people know today. It was a poor desert kingdom under King Idris. Oil had already been discovered, but most of the profits were leaving the country, flowing into the hands of foreign corporations and their partners. The Libyan people, meanwhile, remained in poverty, with little access to education, health services, or opportunity. Then came a young army officer, just 27 years old, by the name of Muammar Gaddafi. He led a bloodless coup against King Idris. Overnight, the monarchy was gone, and a new chapter had begun. Gaddafi promised independence, dignity, and justice. To many Libyans, he was a revolutionary hero, the man who would bring the nation out of poverty and dependency. And almost immediately, he made a move that would define his rule. He nationalized Libya's oil. Instead of letting Western companies take the lion's share, Gaddafi redirected the profits into the state. For the first time, ordinary Libyans felt the benefits of their own natural wealth. This was the beginning of his role as the builder. Under Gaddafi, Libya changed rapidly. Education became free, and literacy skyrocketed. In the late 1960s, only about 1 in 4 Libyans could read or write. By the 2000s, more than 4 out of 5 could. Healthcare also became free, and life expectancy rose sharply. Families had access to housing, food subsidies, and basic services they had never imagined under the old monarchy. One of the grandest projects was the Great Man-Made River, a massive engineering feat that brought fresh water from deep underground aquifers to the country's cities and farmland. It was called the 8th wonder of the world by some. Imagine turning desert land into fertile ground. That was the scale of his ambition. Internationally, Gaddafi also had a vision. He dreamed of a united Africa, a continent that could stand on its own, free from the grip of Western powers. He funded liberation movements, supported African development projects, and even called for a single African currency. For many on the continent, he was more than a Libyan leader. He was a Pan-African visionary. By many measures, Libya had one of the highest standards of living in Africa under his rule. That's why when people look back, the question arises, how could Libyans betray the man who built all this? The answer lies in the cracks beneath the surface. For all his achievements, Gaddafi ruled with absolute power. Political parties were banned. He introduced his own ideology, laid out in his famous Green Book, and created revolutionary committees to enforce it. Dissent was not tolerated. Critics were imprisoned, exiled, or simply disappeared. The oil wealth, while it improved living conditions overall, was not shared equally. Much of it went into the hands of Gaddafi's family and his closest allies. Ordinary people still struggled, especially the younger generation, who faced high unemployment and felt excluded from political life. For them, free education was not enough if there were no jobs at the end of it. On top of this, tribal and regional divisions ran deep in Libya. Some tribes and regions felt favored by Gaddafi's policies, while others felt neglected or outright discriminated against. These resentments did not disappear, they simply waited beneath the surface. So while Gaddafi called himself a man of the people, many quietly saw him as a man clinging to power, unwilling to share it, and unwilling to allow true freedom. Then came 2011, the Arab Spring. Across North Africa and the Middle East, young people rose against long-standing rulers. Tunisia lit the spark. Egypt followed, and Libya was next. It began with protests. At first, the demands were not for the overthrow of Gaddafi, but for reforms. People wanted change, a more open system, a chance to have their voices heard. But Gaddafi's response was harsh. He dismissed the protesters as rats and sent in the military. That decision poured fuel on the fire. Protests turned into rebellion. Rebel groups formed in Benghazi and quickly spread. Libya descended into civil war. Then came the turning point, foreign intervention. NATO, backed by Western powers, launched airstrikes under the claim of protecting civilians.